Today we're joined by a real lawyer, ne? Not a lawyer, but a real lawyer. So we're gonna focus on maintenance. Let's start by establishing the credentials, because some people you say, no, we wanna hear. Okay, so just tell us a little bit about your academic background, your experience, and so on.
So I got my LLB from the University of Free State. Then I did my articles in Pretoria at a small firm where we were dealing with maintenance, a lot of family law. And then from there onwards, I went to do my master's in international trade law, specialized in commercial transactions. And then started my firm about 4 years ago.
Yeah. So because today we want to focus on maintenance, because unfortunately fathers at times are flight risk. Even this morning, a colleague of mine was sharing about a friend of hers who's pregnant. She hasn't even given birth, but already the guy has said, on your marks, get set. And he's nowhere to be found.
When you're telling me that, I have a client exactly when she approached us when she was still pregnant.
Yeah.
And I said to her, unfortunately, I can't help you. She was 8 months pregnant.
Yeah.
I said, you need to come when the baby is born.
So she wanted to file for maintenance
while
during her pregnancy.
Pregnant.
Yeah.
I said, no.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Come when the baby is born. Then we can talk. The baby was born on a Tuesday. And I'm telling you this specifically because Friday, we got pictures. Baby's born, I'm coming on Monday.
Yo. I know, go rough.
Because she knew from the get-go that throughout her pregnancy, she was not going to be supported. The child was not going to get maintenance.
Yeah.
And she obviously wanted to preempt any costs that are going to be, with regards to the birth. Because you can actually request birthing costs.
Yeah.
Right? You can request that
Even,
in a maintenance.
Wait.
Yes,
let's start there. So you're saying you can request birthing costs?
So birthing costs. So you can, I wish we had the maintenance form here.
Yeah.
But you can request and say, this is the cost I've incurred as a result of my birth.
After you've given birth, you say,
yes,
these are the expenses I've incurred. I was, because births are expensive in hospitals.
Exactly.
So if they were charging, say, 5,000 rand per night, or then you put it together and
then you put it together and you say, okay, for 5 days I was here, that's how much I paid, half he needs to pay half.
Goodness. All right, so maybe let's start at the top. Maybe school us a little bit, Nje. What is the law that governs maintenance?
For the layperson, DIY, it's the mother who's saying, listen, I want to get maintenance, how? Where do I start?
Yeah.
Right? So I'll tell them, go to the maintenance court, get the form.
Yeah.
If you can't go to the maintenance court, it's online.
Okay.
Google it, Google maintenance form.
Yes.
It's there.
So you can actually download the maintenance form on Google. And it'll
take you to the Department of Justice website, and then there's like different forms.
Yes.
But the first one, I think they even say MNF Form A.
Yes.
That's the maintenance form.
All right. So you can fill it up. Can you submit online, or you still have to?
No. So
you still have to.
You have to go to court. You have to submit it.
Okay.
You have to give it to the clerk of the maintenance court, and you have to attach the child's birth certificate, your 3-month bank statements. I think it's 3 or 6 months back, but just take 6 months.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it varies court to court, right? You have to take your payslip, so 6-month payslip. If you don't have a payslip, don't put it. It's fine. You need to take your child's expenses. So that's what I always tell to clients. When you come to me with what you want.
Yeah.
So why you want it. So you're telling me the child, the milk costs this. You're telling me that the school fees cost this. You come with all that information, statements, invoices, slips. I mean, I had a mother once that she used to do her child's groceries specifically on 60/60 only.
Yeah.
And I'll get emails every week when she's doing child's, Manyike and all of that. I'll get that because she wanted me to keep track of the child's expenses. I mean, the child was still a toddler. Yeah. So then you'd submit that, and then you'd also submit, for instance, if you have a previous order, right? So for instance, a divorce order, or if you have actually, or maybe a settlement. So normally a divorce order will be attached to the settlement agreement. Settlement agreement will have a maintenance portion of it. If you have a maintenance aspect of it that says this matter will be referred to the maintenance court, you put it in. Yeah. Right? So it's going to be quite a lengthy, document. Okay. Then you put your ID, and I think, just on the top of my head, those are the documents, and you take that to the maintenance court. Okay. Then the process starts.
Okay. But why is it, unless if it's me, why is it that majority of people are summoned by the maintenance court are mostly men?
The woman is the primary caregiver. Yeah. I mean, I say this and I don't want to be gender biased.
Yes.
But between the ages of birth till 4 or even 5, the mother is looking after the child.
Yeah.
Right? The mother's breastfeeding. The mother's doing this. The mother's making care of this. So I really, actually, I can't even, top of my head, even think of a client that has come as a male to say, I want child maintenance for my child.
Okay.
Females, they are the primary caregiver for a certain amount of time of the child's life.
Yeah.
After that, then you'll get males who say, no, I want custody. I want access to the child. I want this, right? Yeah. And then that's a different, obviously, conversation you have with them. But men normally come for access and contact, women, maintenance.
Yeah. Can a father refuse to pay child maintenance?
No. They can't.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Children's Act, both parents' rights and responsibilities are equally shared between both parents, so they cannot refuse. If two people are together, two people are intimate, and a child is born, you must know that the recourse of that, the consequence of that, is maintaining the child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what do maintenance courts consider in child maintenance cases?
So they look at the affordability.
Okay.
They look at the expenses of the children or the child, because affordability, remember, I could be earning as a woman and I earn 50,000 rand. You are coming and you own 20,000 rand. I'm taking you to maintenance court. They will look and say, okay, what is the ratio line? Ratio line would be like what? A third, right? So meaning that I'll have to pay according to my apportionment of my income, and you will have to pay apportionment to your income.
So in other words, there's a particular child maintenance formula that they use
definitely.
to calculate.
For instance, there's the first line, it's called lodging.
Yes, lodging.
Lodging.
Yeah. Yes.
Lodgement, housing, lodgement, you know, that's the first expense that they look at.
Yes.
A child is a third of your expense. So if you're paying a rent of 6,000 rand, you'll automatically put 2,000 rand because it's a third of your lodging costs.
Yes.
That will be a portion to the child.
Okay. Can a father say, I mean, and I'm asking this because I often hear this type of explanations, or call it excuses, where a man says, no, but I've got too much debt. I have, you know, sometimes we find the person has got 2 cars and they live in an expensive suburb and they say, but John, I've got debts. And
you know now what I would do, ne? I'll attach your pension fund.
Attach a pension fund.
I'll take your asset, I'll sell it.
Explain that, please.
No, I mean, there's processes to follow to get to that point, right? As an attorney, there are processes.
So in other words,
but you have a car, you have an asset. Ne? I will then ask, why are you unable to downgrade that asset to increase your income, or what you have, or the money that you have? How are you able to get a car that you pay 16,000 rand per month? Maintenance.
Yes. So you're saying a mother is entitled to target your pension when you use that excuse, for example.
The mother can look, I've done it before. It was last resort. The guy wasn't paying maintenance for about 5-6 years. And we just went and we garnished his pension fund. Another way it could be to garnish, they call it an annulment. They do garnish the salary. Right? So every month what they do is, now you'll get your salary, but on your payslip you'll see it says maintenance order. So there's processes to follow to get there. Right? But that is if the order is there, this person or the partner that has the order against them is not paying maintenance. You just ask the court, can we please garnish? It's not easy, I can tell you that, but it's doable.
So what I'm getting from you, it's like the child's best interests are always first priority.
Paramount.
So even if it means you're going for your pension
to
pay maintenance, they will go there. Which leads me to my next question. Is the maintenance of a child the responsibility of biological parents only?
I love that you asked that question because if I come to you, John, and you don't work, but you have parents, and your parents are doing very well. Your dad has DTXC, he has companies, he's doing well. You have come to the court to say, I cannot afford to pay maintenance. I'm sharp.
You go to the grandparents.
To the back. We touch the paternal grandparents. And we take them to maintenance court.
So let's say I have an 18-year-old son who's unemployed, he's still at school, he impregnates a girl, but obviously he's unemployed. Can the mother garnish the grandparents, in this case myself, because I'm working, my son is not working?
Your question is twofold.
Yeah.
The 18-year-old doesn't work.
Yes.
They don't have a job.
Yes.
By Maintenance Act says you stop maintenance at self-sufficient age, right? And that's one of the factors here. So you're not, as an 18-year-old, self-sufficient. So you go and you claim maintenance from your parents.
Yes.
As an 18-year-old. Take that money and pay your child's maintenance, right?
Okay.
That's step one.
Yeah.
If obviously you're in a home that, you know, that's not possible, your parents, you can't, then yes, I, as a mother of your child, can go and approach your parents and say, listen, Kokot, I'm here. Ne? Ke maintenance. Definitely.
Okay. So grandmothers may be liable to pay maintenance of their grandchildren.
And you know who else is liable? Wives.
Whoa.
Yes, if you're married in community property, if you're married in community property, and your husband is saying, and your husband has a child outside of the marriage, whether it was before or during the marriage, doesn't concern me.
I want to paint this picture, and I like this because we're going somewhere and it's easier to use examples. Let's say as a guy, I have a wife.
Yeah.
My wife is working.
Of course.
And I've lost my job. I'm not working. But on top of that, I go and have a child outside.
Yeah.
The mother of that child, now realizing that I'm unemployed, but my wife is employed, and we're married in commuter property. So what we're saying is, the girlfriend I have outside can go to the maintenance court and say the wife must pay maintenance for the child that the husband made with, I don't even want to label them with names, but I mean, sometimes people call them side kids and all that, side chicks and whatever the case may be. Or steady. So a wife will pay because you're married in commuter property.
It's a joint estate. So you, as the steady, are taking the joint estate. So the joint estate includes your wife's pension, your wife's salary, your wife's this.
Yes.
Whatever she's making.
Yeah. So the wife will pay. So, hey, the husband, you need to manage your husband to not to make more children because otherwise you're going to pay more.
Exactly.
That's you know, I think for me that just highlights how the law takes the best interest of the child seriously. I mean, they're a priority.
Definitely.
Okay.
And this is not even maintenance. When we sit down and we talk about the Children's Act.
Yes.
You will see it goes way deeper than just maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about maybe fathers who are denying a child, and he says, "Nah, I know, but I was not alone. Maybe somebody assisted me. Therefore, I don't think this is my child." And then
that's the best excuse. You know, the men to frustrate the court, to frustrate the system. They always say, "No, I'm denying paternity."
Yeah.
Right? And what do? No, you have to allow the paternity test to be done. Unfortunately, in our current court system now, I think it's the NHI that does the department, basically. The lab does the paternity test. That's for women that cannot afford private labs.
Yes.
And that can take months.
Yeah.
That's when they know they can frustrate the system, right?
Yeah.
Most times you'll just tell the court, it's fine, Your Worship, we'll get a lab. Get a private lab, you go pay 2.5. He will be forced to go with the child, even if they go separate days, doesn't matter. You'll just tell the lab, obviously they'll know. You do the paternity and then you come in and present that. But yes, that is a man's favorite excuse of why he shouldn't pay maintenance.
Who pays for the DNA test?
The one who requests it.
Phew.
Yeah, it's a lot.
All right. Okay, moving forward. Why do you think some women might be feeling discouraged to actually go to maintenance court?
Yeah, it's a very embarrassing process. It's a very dehumanizing process. If you go into a maintenance court in the morning,
it's painful.
You start because you want to be first, so when you want to be first, you have to be number one. When the court opens the door, you're there. So that because it's listed by who's there first, right? So if 60 women are in court or are applying for maintenance that day, you want to be the first person. You're there 7:30 in the morning, right? You're sitting and you're waiting for your turn to be called, right? It's a full day. It's not a process that is quick. They go through the papers with you. The clerk will sit and criticize every single amount. You as a mother knowing I've spent my last 100 rand. I don't take care of myself. I don't buy myself clothes. I barely buy myself toiletries to look after this child. And they'll sit and they'll criticize every single amount, saying, "No,
so it's the
where's
emotional
the proof
torture.
of this?" It's the emotional torture. It's the embarrassment, right? Number two, it's the process. The process itself is it's a long process for you to get from having drafted your documents, having gotten a date, to still have to go and serve him. And remember, maintenance papers, you have to serve him personally. So if you can't find him, you need to look for him, right? From there onwards, then you find him, you serve him. First appearance, he doesn't come to court. You're sitting there. Remember, you've been sitting there the whole day. Your matter is now called at 1:30 because there were other people before you.
Yes.
Now you have to explain to the maintenance officer why he's not here. I don't know, but he was served. Here are the papers, he was served. Then they'll give you a subpoena. Subpoena is now saying he has to attend. If he doesn't attend, we can do a warrant of arrest. Now you must still go and serve him that document.
Okay, and it's the sheriff that does the serving, right?
No.
You
So
do it
not just the sheriff.
Yes.
You can't do it yourself, but you can get the police officers. So any police station, you take them, you go with the document saying, "Hi, I have these documents. I need to go serve the father of my child." They will gladly help you, and they'll do it with
that
pride. You know, when they walk in there into your employment and they're there and they're just like, "You've been served in that day. Here you go, sign."
And they don't put that there in an envelope. It's open like that.
And they don't put it like, they don't ask you to come down. They come to your office. Where you're sitting there, and they'll give you and say, "We're looking for X, Y, and Z," because he must be served personally. So I think that's where fathers now realize, okay, this is embarrassing. Let me try and settle this thing quickly. But if you find a man that he doesn't care, he'll be served by the police. He won't pitch again, right?
So after first appearance, you don't pitch. Then you get subpoenaed.
Then they give you a subpoena.
If you don't appear after a subpoena, warrant of arrest is issued for the father or whoever, if it's in the case of a mother and so on.
Perfect. So then, and I'm going to give an example. I had a client, he didn't pitch first appearance, and we managed to get the subpoena on the second time, right? Because we had proof. You received it, you tell us when you're coming, you're not coming. Now you're telling us you're not in the country. Where are you? What's going on? So then we got a warrant of arrest and we gave it to the police people at the airport. As soon as he lands, I'm gonna you scan your passport when you get into the country.
Yes.
They scan and they see ting ting ting, warrant of arrest.
Yes.
Let's go.
Okay. How about women, for example, who have a child but the biological father is not a citizen of the country, and they say he travels to Zim or Swaziland or Namibia or wherever.
And those are the frustrating matters.
How do you deal with such cases? Because there are mothers who say, but the biological father is not a citizen, or at that time say they're not married. How do you secure the child's maintenance in those instances?
John, that part of it it's a difficult one to say or to even navigate, because he's not here. He needs to be served. He doesn't have family here. There's no parents you can go back and request them. Honestly, it's and this is my practical experience, it's basically impossible.
I've often had women complaining that they have a maintenance order. The guy paid for a couple of months and now he's gone AWOL. What should happen in those instances? You approach
the maintenance court. You go back to maintenance court. And I'm very finicky and pedantic with information. So you have your table, you list June, he didn't pay. July, he didn't pay. You take it to the court, right? And then that amount of money will then be enforced in a different way. Remember I told you earlier about my pension fund? Yes. So that one was 6 years. Imagine he didn't pay for 6 years. Yeah. He got an order to pay in year one. And in year one, the order even said on the anniversary of the order, it must go up by 10%. So now you add all those amounts together and you get a nice round figure, right? And then that's how then we were able to then attach the pension fund. We got an order to say pension fund and then garnish. So for the remaining years of this child's life till he turns 18 or self-sufficient, or whatever the arrangement is, we garnish that amount, that 1 point something. Remember, we've increased, and then the one that's outstanding, debit order from pension. We take it from the pension fund, like that. Yeah.
Goodness.
So look, there's different ways to enforce the order, but the courts rarely will ever go the criminal route.
Yeah.
That's last option
resort,
for them. That for them, they'll tell you, see, we can do everything for you. We can give you this. We can even find us a house. We can even tell the sheriff to go attach the house. I have keys. I'll pay the proceeds. Right? That can do, but it's always to the amount that is outstanding.
All right. I've also often heard fathers complaining that they're being denied access to the child by the biological mothers because maybe they are not able to pay maintenance for whatever reason, rightly or wrongly, whether the guy is employed or unemployed. What are the rights of the fathers?
So maintenance and access, two different courts. Actually, let's start there. Access and contact is dealt with in the children's court. Maintenance is dealt with in the maintenance court. You cannot conflict the two. Just because he's not paying maintenance, right, does not give you the right to refuse access. That man can take you to children's court and say, she's not giving me access. But in children's court, you can't wake up and come into children's court and say, but he's not paying maintenance. Because he's not, so I can't give him access because he's not paying maintenance. No, the court does not entertain maintenance when it comes to access at all, like zero. They'll tell you you're in the wrong court. Go deal with your issues of maintenance in maintenance court. So it's not allowed. You can't.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the mother who was imprisoned recently for denying a father access because of...
So that was a very interesting matter, and it actually set a precedent. They were going through, there was a divorce. There was a rule, an interim order. I think it was Rule 43 interim order that was done. Interim order is an order that you get while you're going through a divorce. So while you're going through a divorce, you can ask the court for relief. I need access to my child on X amount of days. I need, spousal maintenance. I need maintenance for the child, right? So he had received an order that says you have to pay maintenance to the child or to the mother for the child of X amount. You can see the child every alternative weekends, right? He continued paying maintenance. He was diligent in his, he respected the court. The mother on this side would, when it comes to access, nothing. When it was time to pick up the child, phone is off. When it was time to do anything, the child hadn't seen the father for months, if not even, the entire process of the divorce. What then, the attorney did was they then applied for what they call a contempt of court.
Contempt of court.
So the contempt is important because you're not being imprisoned because you're not giving access. You're being imprisoned because you're in contempt of an order that exists.
So
then they did a contempt of court application that, this woman is in contempt, but she's in contempt not once, not twice, it's ongoing. We're sending them, her attorney's emails, sending her, there's proof, emails, WhatsApps, there was everything to sustain a solid contempt of court case. And then, she was imprisoned for that.
So these rights of fathers, are they the same for married fathers and unmarried fathers?
They are.
Okay.
They don't differentiate. No. The Children's Act, No. They used to, have a whole out of marriage, wedlock. They used to have, different definitions for it, but now, no, they don't.
It just reminds me of something, slightly unrelated matter. I'm saying slightly unrelated because I'm going to digress a little bit. Where an unmarried father says, I want the child to carry my surname. But then the mother says,
John,
no, but you are not married. And then people are bringing culture and say, no, but culturally you can't. But legally, damages, what does the law say?
Nothing.
The law says nothing.
Is my child carrying your surname to the best interest of the child? And if it is, tell me why.
So you have to convince the court already.
You must convince the court that it is the best interest of the child to carry my surname.
Up to what age should a parent pay maintenance? Again,
self-sustaining.
Sometimes you hear fathers
say
no,
but... You have a 32-year-old that is asking for maintenance. You have a 40-year-old that's asking for maintenance.
What?
You're not self-sufficient. You're not self-sustaining. I don't have a salary. I don't have...
You're saying a child that's 35 that's unemployed. Okay, we already have a problem of a crisis of youth unemployment, where 66% of young people in this country are unemployed. So you say somebody can be 35 years or even 40 years old.
18 or self-sufficient, whichever comes last.
Yeah. So, okay, a person is over 18, but they're unemployed. So that person must still...
I defended a father who had twins, and they were in varsity.
Yes.
And they took him to maintenance court to pay their school fees, university fees. They were in university.
Yeah.
And the mother could pay a portion, and they were like, but we need school fees. She can pay living expenses, marijuana come with school fees.
That part I understand for Wanabago University. I'm talking about a grown man of 40 years sitting at home. He doesn't have a job. So you're saying he can still expect maintenance from the father?
From his parents, yeah.
Can it? Do you know if this guy doesn't want to work?
I mean, you can say, I don't have a degree, so how do I get work?
Yeah, I know.
You know, there's different, look, but I'm telling you, the court's discretion will then be used.
Okay.
I mean, the court will then be like, okay, we'll give you this, but can you, what's the plan here? You can't be milking your 65, 70-year-old pension parent just because when you don't want to go and work.
Yeah.
They will definitely use a discretion there. But yes, 40-year-old malume that's sitting on the couch can definitely apply for maintenance.
Okay. So if a person receiving a child's maintenance happens to abuse the maintenance contribution from the contributing party, what can the aggrieved party or the court do in such cases?
And I'm going to refer back to my experience.
Yeah.
Same thing happened. We just requested that the contributions be provided directly to the supplier, so the school, and then anything to do with groceries should be given in the form of vouchers.
Right.
So vouchers being Pick and Pay, Checkers vouchers, and because yes, the client on the other side was using the money for, should go out, should live her best life on the maintenance, should get her hair done. She was, and then Kamo Wana suffering, and it was evident. The child was not eating. You could see the child was a bit malnourished. And then the father, the father's like, what's going on? You're always slayed up. You're waiting. What are you doing with the money? And funny enough, that's when the woman will come and say, no, I want more, because you can see he's doing this. But I mean, again, court's discretion will come and say, but what are you doing with the money? How are you using it?
Okay. At what age can a child refuse to see their parents?
So there's something called voice of the child assessment that is done by family advocates, by psychologists, where they sit down, the social worker or the psychologist, or if you want to go private, you can go pick your own private person, go sit down with the child and they'll talk. They will understand, what's going on. Have you seen your daddy? Where's your daddy? Why haven't you seen your daddy? Is mommy ever home? What is mommy doing? You know what I mean? And the child will obviously have an opinion. You look at the child's age and maturity levels. Children's Act does say the child's opinion does matter if the child's of, sufficient age, and the age now is 12. You can start at 10. But anything above 12, the child has an opinion. So they'll do the voice of the child assessment, and then from there onwards, that can then be provided to the court. You cannot force a child to see their other parent, just like you cannot force a man to see his child. You cannot force a mother to be a mother, right? That you can't. But you can force maintenance.
Yeah. Okay, related follow-up question. So what constitutes an unfit parent?
So, abuse, drug abuse. There's a client that I was in court the other day, and the father was trying to have my client unfit because she had bipolar.
Okay.
No, that's not. That doesn't determine.
Because it's a medical condition.
It's a medical condition. Is she taking a treatment? Yes. Can her psychiatrist, say that she's well and okay to take over the child? Yes. So you can't use that. It's abuse. It's violence. It's it's more physical abuse. It's more emotional abuse is also a bit very difficult to a certain, because kids lie.
Yeah.
Let's not let's not take away from that. Kids lie. But also social worker will then get involved. Social worker will then do an assessment on the child. Social workers are prime individuals when it comes to issues of unfit parents, right? Because then they will then speak to the child. They will then speak to, you know, the father. Why do you think he's an unfit parent?
Yeah.
But things like mental illness, no. It's majority of the time abuse, and it's abuse that you catch now.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me that last year Mwana came out with a blue eye, and then I'm only doing the application now to have the parent unfit. And I don't think, you know, people know this, but Children's Court entertains urgent matters.
Okay.
So if you are a mother or a father and you are suspecting any abuse from the child, from the father to the child, if you suspect anything, Children's Court can entertain your matter tomorrow. You get there, go to the clerk and you say, I need to speak to the magistrate right now. And they'll ask you why, and you show them whatever evidence you have, you do whatever, you know, and they'll make sure you that gets done. So as attorneys, we call those urgent applications. So you as a layman, they will definitely entertain you. But also make sure that when you approach the court on an urgent basis, it mustn't be because, you know, make it serious. Things like neglect, child neglect is also another one, right? So the child was with you the whole weekend, you've locked the child in the house with no food, nothing. The child is 3, right? 3-year-olds will talk. I was in the house alone the whole day watching Peppa Pig. Where was your father? Where was your mother? I don't know. They weren't there. That already is a...
Yeah, it's a trigger.
It's a trigger. That should already in your head spark what's going on.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. I mean, it's been quite insightful. I look forward to us talking about other things as well.
I know there's a lot, hey?
Paternity.
I mean, wills, please get your wills done.
Yeah. So I would like to revisit that pretty soon, But thank you so much.